Sweet Billy Pilgrim here. Just wanted to talk about some of the records that have influenced what we've done with our new album Motorcade Amnesiacs, which I shall shamelessly bring to your attention here. As you can see, it is available in the vinyl format, gatefold no less, and you get the download codes with it, so you can listen to it in digital glory as well. But best of all, you get this. Now, can you see? Behold the wonder of the etched side 4. Beautiful, beautiful thing. You can order that now if you haven't already. No pressure. In the meantime, I'm just going to talk to you about some of the records that have had an impact on the making of that one. So first off would be Steely Dan. I can't really talk about the band I'm in without talking about Steely Dan because they've been a massive influence. Often accused of a kind of soullessness, I guess because of Donald Fagen's legendary perfectionism, and I think it's unfair. It has lots of soul. All the songs are emotionally involving and beautifully done, and the brilliant playing means they can kind of tap into the emotions of things much more accurately and much quicker. And so yeah, I'd say that's been a pretty big influence on the record. David Sylvian, Gone to Earth. That's my favourite David Sylvian album. His second solo record. Perfect balance of emotion and atmosphere. And Before the Bullfight, which I think is my favourite David Sylvian song. And a lot of the other songs on there as well have that idea of, you know, all the whooshy atmospheric sounds, and the really, really composed instrumental stuff. The drums on Before the Bullfight, if you think about how those drums work, that certainly influenced my thoughts on what drums should do on a record. It's not just someone thrashing away at a drum kit, which is nice in the right place. It's carefully composed to kind of work with the rest of the song. Obviously this, on almost equally lovely vinyl, is Queens of the Stone Age last album. Big influence again, riffs, guitar sounds, weirdness, but a really coherent, really skillfully made, brilliant record. So XTC I have loved for many years. Obviously they have various stages of what they've done. There's a kind of post-punk scratchy thing they did at the beginning, then it got a bit more involved when they got a second guitar player, like on this record, their third record, and then gradually working their way through to a more kind of arranged, pastoral, almost kind of Brian Wilson-esque level of arrangement and composition. Andy Partridge is a genius. You can't really go wrong with an XTC record. This is probably one of my favourites, and probably an influence on a song like, say, Fast Forward to the Freeze Frame, which has that kind of angularity. Along similar lines, Gang of Four, punk band trying to play funk. Those angular guitar sounds again, really scratchy sounding. This is their second record, which I actually prefer to their first, controversially. But again, Fast Forward to the Freeze Frame, I think, owes a lot to this band. And possibly this band as well, Wire. Brilliantly economical writing. Not the best musicians in the world by any means, but they make everything count. Everything is carefully considered. And you know, songs can last anything from 30 seconds through to 2.5, 3 minutes, but so many ideas, and so many great riffs as well. Scritti Politti. Now, it's not a sound everybody loves. Yes, he looked a bit like Lady Di in the 80s, as a lot of us did, really. But I think it's one of those Trojan horse records. It sneaks in loads of stuff under this kind of glossy sheen of kind of perfection. And just above Midtown, for example, I think has been very influenced by the Scritti Politti approach, you know, where everything in the production kind of gets out of the way of everything else. So you have a bass line sort of ba-dum bum ba-dum that stops in time for the snare drum to hit. So everything has its place and it's all carefully planned. So that's a brilliant record. I think you could probably hear on Make It So, for example, where I sing in my lower register, that I'd been listening to, you know, this one and Infected. I think thematically as well, Make It So being a political song would have been kind of influenced by some of the songs on Infected. But yes, certainly a really important artist in my development. Also his production ideas, which were very involved. Along with this guy, yes, Multiface, Peter Gabriel, which you can probably see here. So most of his records, including the ones he made with Genesis, would have had some impact on my life. I chose this one because it was the first record where he began to experiment with how he wrote. So on Intruder, first song on here, he started from the drums. He started the kind of compositional arrangement process from the drums and kind of worked his way up from there. So Burn Before Reading on the new record worked the same way. I nicked his approach, basically. And he's always been an influence melodically on what I do. But yeah, specifically he gave me a working method that took me somewhere that perhaps I wouldn't have gone otherwise. So Prefab Sprout. Yes, I have my Prefab Sprout face here. Just, what can I say? Everything I do owes a debt to Paddy McAloon, I guess. Still a little bit troubled. I don't know if you can see here, the gatefold. Not exactly sure what's going on in this picture. There's a sort of head here, and there's another head here. I'm not sure. I think there might be funny business going on. Enough said, really. Paddy McAloon, he's never really put a foot wrong. I even like the Jimmy Nail songs. So that leads us to Bowie. Interesting conversation with my son the other day. What was my favourite Bowie album? So when a 16-year-old asks you that question, it's a big deal. Father-son moment. So I kind of, the Berlin Trilogy. I love this record. This is a wonderful, wonderful record. But I think it's this one. I think it's this one. Sweet Thing, We Are the Dead, Big Brother. Just brilliant, brilliant songs. Kind of a transitional record for him, but I don't know. I think it's the one. Certainly he's influenced my singing style on the new record. I've had to learn to sing louder, probably because there's so many guitars on it. So my voice has kind of got bigger, and I kind of find myself not shying away, which I possibly would have in the past from the Bowie, Scott Walker big voice thing, which I'm not comparing myself in any way, but you know, in terms of inspiration. So yes, Bowie, big deal. Kind of in a similar vein, but loads more extreme. The Associates. This album, Sulk, is bizarre in that it was a hit, and they were pop stars. But it is the strangest, most extreme, weirdest, over-the-top, most hysterical record I've ever heard. Some of the production decisions are ludicrous, but it works. It works brilliantly. And I love it very dearly and would recommend that you buy it. And there is just that sense of, fuck it, let's try it. Which, our record, there was lots of moments of, fuck it, let's try it. Which I don't think is a kind of philosophical movement at all, but it possibly should be. Swans. Swans, I would say, are possibly an acquired taste. This is my favourite record of theirs, called Children of God, and I love it very dearly because it has a sort of purity. Basically, it's melody. We don't need that. It's harmonic progression, chord sequences. Probably we don't need that. We just need great big slabs of dynamics. So quiet, loud, often one chord for the whole song, and it's incredibly economical. It's kind of daring. It's kind of daring. It's just picking one thing and doing that really well. And they've influenced lots of the metal bands that I like. So there's a band called Sun with 2 N's, and then there's an O, and then there's close bracket, close bracket, close bracket, which apparently you don't ever pronounce, so you just say Sun. They have a bass guitarist, 2 guitarists, no drummer. It's just about bottom end drones. And there's something curiously satisfying about that sound. Something to do with the caveman part of my brain, I think. But if you go to CD 2 of our new album, you will find a song called Grove Ponies, which is 14 minutes long, which has a 5/4 section, a drone section. It basically has sections, which, you know, is not always healthy in music. But I thought I'd give it a go, ascribing to the law of fuck it. And you will hear the influence of Swans and Sun and such bands, especially in the end section, which is in a drop G, and is a big doom metal riff, complete with my first guttural roar. So treat yourself to that on CD 2. I believe there's a download code with the vinyl. This brings us to Public Enemy. Bit of an odd one to kind of choose as an influence for the record, but I think because of the lyrics, it made me really work hard on making the lyrics flow, having rhymes in the middle of the line that actually make the rhythm of the song stronger. And I had a conversation once, a bit of an awkward conversation, at a prog sort of magazine round table filmed debate with some other progressive musicians, and I made the point that Public Enemy are a progressive band, and mainly because, you know, there was rap, hip hop before Public Enemy, and then there was hip hop after Public Enemy, and it was a different thing. The politics, the sound of it, it was so dense, so many layers. And quickly the conversation was obviously changed back to other things, but I feel the point still stands. So I think in attitude, and I think in kind of lyrical technique, in terms of how words rhyme, how that stuff works, this has been an influence. This one, it's a brilliant record, purely gratuitous choice. I apologise if there are any young people watching, but if you are, this is a really good record. Okay, just keep it away from your mum and dad. Brilliant. And finally, big war movie themes. The theme from Lawrence of Arabia, 633 Squadron, Where Eagles Dare, one of the best movie themes of all time. This, from the age of, I guess, 6 or 7, it's sort of become a sacred text. So, anyway, I've talked for long enough. I hope that's provided a insight. That's probably hoping for too much, really, into kind of the influences that have gone into the record. Just remains for me to say thank you for all the support so far. Thank you for watching to the end of this. And to remember that, you know, basically a band like us, we rely on one person telling another person, telling another person, telling another person. So please tell people about us. and come and see us play, because that's where it all comes together, and that's the most important bit when we get to talk to you more directly. So thanks for your time. I'll see you later. Cheers.